Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a great day to be in Macon-Bibb County, and certainly it's a great day to be here in the chambers where we do a lot of work for our citizens. And to me, today is a very special time, not just for the people in this room, but the people all across the great city of Macon. So I'm pleased to be the person behind the mic today, but I'll let you know that we always work with a great team. And that is why on Tuesday, August the 19th, just a few short days ago, I recommended the fifth consecutive tax decrease for the citizens of Macon-Bibb County. And not only that, the commissioners voted unanimously to pass that savings on to our citizens. Many of you have asked how we've been able to do this while we continue to fund our budget and while we continue to make important and fund all the departments that we have. And so many of our local governments around us, not only them, but the people that live in those communities have asked us, how does Macon-Bibb County able to do this while we see an increase in our property taxes? Well, you know what? The reason is very simple. Very simple. It's called fiscal responsibility. This is when you balance your budget, you minimize your deficits, and you manage the debt levels to ensure that long-term financial health of our government. You know, we have moved our community forward by implementing policies that stimulate economic growth through investment in things like infrastructure, tourism, and innovation, while avoiding excessive regulation that stifles the business development. You know, those policies and investments have led to strong continued growth in Macon, and they ultimately allowed us to reduce the tax burdens on our residents. Even with these historic reductions, we are in stronger financial position than we have ever been. If not, how else could we do the following? Number one, invest $50 million in roads and infrastructure, to pave 20 years of roads in just 1 year, to increase the public safety funding by $28 million, not just over a period of years, but each year annually, to construct a world-class amphitheater and begin planning for a world-class arena right here in our community, to design and to build a state-of-the-art convention center, expand the airport runway, build a brand new FBO that we all can be proud of and that everyone can see when they go by, and yes, attract new airlines and new transportation to Macon-Bibb County. At the same time, we'll be able to expand and significantly upgrade our law enforcement center, which I had the pleasure to review today. Our final person is going to look to create something special at the law enforcement center to take care of any issues we may have, because it's a priority. It's a priority just like all the other things that I just mentioned from our citizens. But not just that, we continue to build a stronger Macon together. And that's why we all unite to do things like welcome in a new national park in our community. Not only a new national park, the 64th in the United States and the first in Georgia. But we're not done looking for ways that we can help our people. The people of Macon-Bibb County that want it so much. Whether that's improving our neighborhoods or reducing their tax burden, especially for some of our most vulnerable citizens. On Tuesday, September the 2nd, I will be recommending to the Commission to pass a resolution asking our local legislative delegation to introduce legislation that will establish a new homestead exemption on ad valorem and property taxes, not just for Macon-Bibb County, but for Macon-Bibb County and the Bibb County public school system. On the screen, you're going to see some information. And I'd like to take a couple moments just to go over what you're looking at. You can view a graduated scale of increased exemptions for ages 65, 75, and 85. One thing to keep in mind, this carries no income requirement at all. Doesn't matter what you make, which changes the way things have been done lately. As you can see by this property tax exemption chart that we have here, those that are 64 and under now receive only $7,000 from the county, $7,000 homestead exemption from the school system for a total of $14,000 exemption. This is the no income we're talking about. There is a 62 currently in place with the school system right now, but you can't make more than $8,000 or $10,000 per year. This new proposal at age 65 will allow the $7,000 for both the city and for the school system, an additional $10,000 on top of that for the city of Macon, an additional $10,000 on top of that for the Bibb County school system, for a total of $34,000 that a citizen will get off their home evaluations. At age 75, you'll receive those same two exemptions of $7,000. You'll receive the same two $10,000, but now you'll get an additional $15,000 from the school system and from the county, for a total of $64,000 off your evaluation for your property taxes. One important thing to note on the age 75 is there are numerous properties in our community now, some over close to 300, that at age 75, because of the value of their homes, will no longer pay school taxes and no longer pay county taxes at all at that point. But it gets better. Too many times, I know many of our commissioners have heard it, our school board has heard it. At some point in time, the senior citizens of Macon-Bibb County believe that they do not and should not have to pay school taxes. 85 years old on this bracket here, you can see full all the way across. That means anybody in Macon-Bibb County that owns their home that is 85 years old or older would no longer pay property taxes, county or with the school system, if this exemption goes forward. And you can see that amount is all across the board, and something that we think is good fiscal policy, and it's good. So let me give you some reasons that I believe that the seniors in our community not only are entitled to this, not only did they earn this, but that they need this. You know, by providing tax relief, seniors are more likely to remain in their homes rather than to be forced out of their homes by selling or downsizing due to financial pressure. This stabilizes. It can help maintain a consistent neighborhood demographic, which often leads to steadier property values. Lower tax burdens can diminish the risk of foreclosures for seniors who might struggle to pay taxes, especially on a fixed income. I can't tell you how many times I receive calls from people or emails or messages from people in our community that are caring for a loved one that's 75 and 85 years old. They're already having a hard time making ends meet just because of natural environment and economics. And the last thing they need to worry about is whether they have to pay school taxes or property taxes on a property that they've earned and worked for a long period of time. This matters to them, it's important to them, and this is one way, a small part that we can do to help them along the way. By reducing the tax pay burden on seniors, they will have more disposable income available. You think about it, if they don't have to pay the property taxes and they have disposable income, they're going to buy things in our community. They're going to help our local businesses by buying those consumer staples, or going out to that dinner, or buying those groceries, or things of that nature. The surplus can be used for these goods and these services, stimulating more demand in our community and supporting more local businesses. With these additional funds, guess what else they can do? They can invest in much-needed home renovations. How many times have you heard from someone in your community that says, I wish I had money to fix my roof, or maybe the porch, or maybe the stairs, or maybe I could upgrade my HVAC? This money they could use instead of paying the county property taxes, instead of paying school taxes for children they don't have in school, or maybe don't even have grandchildren by that age. It's much needed money that they could use for improvements. And guess what happens when you give them money to make improvements to their houses? They hire good and local contractors that feed their families, who pay small business permits in our community, that hire people from our community and give people good quality jobs. Yes, with seniors facing lower tax burden, the financial pressures on their families may decrease. Their mental health is better. You know, one of the things we experience in our community a lot of times is blight. Blight has gone abandoned for a while, but you know, a lot of that blight is because of heir property. You think about it, a lot of times they have to make those decisions. Do I get there? Do I make these improvements for my 85-year-old mother who passed away? And they have all this large debt on the property. Think about how easier they can make those improvements and take care of that estate and put that property back out there to use, or perhaps take it and keep it in their family as well. This helps with that situation. This will lead to better economic stability for younger generations as well, by allowing them to allocate more funds for education, local investments, and the health and well-being of themselves and their family. So just in conclusion, our reduction is our success. So what are the next steps to make this a reality? With a vote to approve this resolution on this Tuesday night, September the 2nd, we will forward it to our local delegations so they can take this issue up their next session, which begins in January. With state approval, the matter will be put forth to voters in Macon-Bibb County as a referendum to allow you sitting at home to cast your vote next November to decide whether or not you believe this senior exemption is in the best interest of Macon-Bibb County and all of its citizens. Personally, as mayor, I hope you will join me in support of this effort, letting your friends know, your family know, your neighbors know, and more importantly, elected officials, how this will improve the lives of you, your families, and our community. At this time, that's all that I have to say on this matter here. We will be sending our agenda out, but I am happy to answer any questions from media, one at a time while we are still live, to answer any questions that you may have, and we'll have a microphone out back. And please make sure you speak into that microphone, and I'll answer any questions that I'm able to answer today. And if for some reason I'm unable to answer those questions, I will get your response back just as soon as possible. So thank you very much for being here today. It's still a great day to be in Macon-Bibb County, and certainly our seniors deserve the very best. We're one of the first communities that have recognized our seniors, and we're going to continue to do that at least as long as I am mayor of Macon-Bibb County. So this time I'd open up the floor for any questions that the media may have. Ms. Corey.
So would this be retroactive, or is it written just, whenever it goes in place going forward?
So the resolution will work its way through the commission, through the local delegation, will pass the General Assembly, be signed by the governor, and if it's signed by the governor, it'll be on a referendum next November. Once it passes, the effective date will be the first day of January of the next year. That's the age-on date, and that's when the tax would go into place. Everyone else that has their current exemptions and the current disabilities, all that, none of that will change. They would be grandfathered in. So it will start at the time that allowed to start, because this has to go through the state legislature. Yes, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. So my question is, the Bibb County School District, from what I could see from their tax digest, it looks like they have a deficit of about, I think, $17 to $20 million in, at least for this year, and then that may go up or down in the next few years. Would this put more of a burden on them if this homestead exemption were to pass? Can you kind of explain a little bit more about how that works?
Sure, I'll be happy to comment. Number one, we all have to be good stewards of our taxpayer dollars, regardless of whether you have the budget or you have a surplus. I have personally met with the leadership with the Bibb County school system. I believe that they are very supportive of this obligation. It will cost, over the next 5 years for the county and for the school system combined, approximately $7 million to make sure that we fund this appropriately. However, we have already met with them to discuss their budget and things that we can help them improve on their budget, and we're comfortable that not only will they be able to cover this amount, which is estimated about $670,000 a year in the current numbers, they'll be able to replace that with additional funds, and that'll come before commission sometime in late September or the 1st of October. So thank you for that question. I'll tell you that we are very good partners with our school system. They get some of the same complaints that we get about school taxes, and we can argue all day long about whether someone should pay them or not. We want our kids to get a quality education, because that quality education helps our community lift our whole community up. Also provides a quality workforce for our community. So we would never do anything to disadvantage our public school system. We're doing everything within our power to lift them up. And this is something I believe they very much are in agreement of, but make no mistake, regardless, this will move forward with the state legislature. The voters will make that decision, and both of those voters pay the school system's budget and the county's budget, and that's where the voices will be heard. Next question.
So our local delegation hasn't met in probably more than a year. I mean, not even to discuss the possible third term. How receptive do you think they'll be to this, and what kind of is that relationship?
Well, I think that I think 2026 is an election year. From the people that I know on that local delegation, they have passed many tax bills. I do not believe they'll do a disservice to the citizens of Macon-Bibb County by refusing to put this forth. Ultimately, it's going to be the voter of Macon-Bibb County who decides whether or not they want to support this. We're the avenue that works through. So I feel confident that they will take up this matter as well as some other matters that may come up before them as far as legislative priorities for Macon-Bibb County between now and then. Other questions from the media? Thank you very much for being here today. It appears there's no other questions. If you have any additional questions that you'd like to talk to on a one-on-one basis, I'll be happy to answer those. So this concludes our press conference.